One of the best ways to know whether a Sims pack is worth it to you is to obviously see the gameplay, see how other players use it, how it integrates with the other packs that you own, and that's exactly what we are going to be doing in today's video, because I asked you lot if maybe you haven't picked up Businesses and Hobbies yet, maybe you haven't really seen anyone try these types of businesses, if there was anything that you were really interested in seeing how it actually worked with the official content that The Sims 4 currently has. And my word, there were a lot of you. Now, I have already gone over some of the replies, like in my Let's Play, for example. So today, we're really going to be focusing on those ones that I haven't really seen much of online, just so you can get an idea of whether that gameplay is going to suit you or not. Starting off with this beauty salon. So I'm going to tell you what objects I have used. Obviously, Businesses and Hobbies for the ticketing kiosk. We also have some spa day here with the massage chairs. Get Famous has this little makeup and hairstylist chair. Finally, again, Businesses and Hobbies with the tattooing table. I figured this could be a beauty salon slash hairstyling salon. Our business is called Plumbob Beauty, and if we go to the small business settings, I have chosen Get Tattooed as a customer activity. That is more so because I'm thinking of like modern day beauticians tattooing like freckles, laminating eyebrows, that sort of thing. So that's why I have Get Tattooed as one of the activities, and then also do spa activities, which obviously includes massage tables and the massage chairs. We've gone for a one-time entrance fee. You don't actually charge your sim for massages. You also don't charge them for makeovers in that Get Famous chair. There is a mod that does that, so if you want to, get some money by actually doing those things, you can install some mods. However, they will give us money if we tattoo them. Her employee tasks are 10 tattoo tables, 10 massage chairs and tables, be friendly with other Sims, and then also clean any dirty objects. I figured it was quite good to keep this place hygienic. So of course, we are gonna open up that business. This has kicked in. The entrance fee kind of covers the massage if Sims want like a manicure or a pedicure, and also the makeovers. So we can offer makeup, we can offer hairstyles, appearance styling. We're gonna tend the massage chair. We're not gonna offer foot massages, but we are going to offer manicures, pedicures, and hand massages. Blossom has decided to make her way in. Let's see if she's gonna actually ask for anything specific. She's sat in the chair and she's saying hello to us. Listen to Blossom's question. She wants a pedicure. She's wearing yellow, so we're actually gonna go for yellow on those little toes of her. Excuse me, can you get off your phone and actually tend to this lovely lady? The 46 simoleons is hopefully gonna cover it. We got 46 simoleons also from Malcolm Landgrab. I wonder if he's gonna ask for anything. Unfortunately, you can't tend like the makeup table, so you have to be the one to do this. Oh my goodness, this is actually popping off. We've got a fair amount of customers. You're gonna have to get quicker at pedicures if you want to keep these customers happy. But there we go. She's got the yellow on her toes. The pedicure is in fact done, and we're gonna shake on it. She's pretty happy with that. It might be that we have to greet someone. Yep, it is in fact that. So let's go offer a haircut to Angela Pleasant. I accidentally chose makeup instead of a hairstyle. So the way this works, your sim will start to apply the makeup. They'll go through the animations, and once they've actually sprayed that is basically the setting spray. We're going to exit out of this, and it should, I'm hoping, keep that makeup on Angela. There we go. Malcolm, where have you ran off to, sir? Let's go welcome him to the business so we can also give him a cheeky little haircut. Again, this does happen to work the same way as the makeup. Your sim will go through the animations with the biggest scissors you have ever seen. I mean, he is a base game baby, so he definitely needs a little bit of zhuzhing up. You use the hairspray and ooh, okay, no longer a base game baby. He has got a nice little flare to his hair. We did decide to stick with the color, and he's now looking great. He's like, okay, I'm ready for my holiday. I'm gonna jet set and go. He can't wait to sit on the tarmac for 4 hours and listen to Jess Glynn, and she's already scrubbing up the massage chair that obviously Blossom sat in. So, you know what? Even without a mod, without being paid specifically to do these things, I actually think the one-time cost works really, really well for a beauty salon. Again, if we had tattooed anyone, we can obviously offer a tattoo and we would specifically get paid for that. If you are going to go more for the beautician route, you would probably do a customizable tattoo so that you could actually draw on like those freckles, beauty marks, whatever you feel that sim maybe needs. But all in all, I think I'm going to give this business 4 stars if you have those specific packs that I have discussed. We had 6 customers, and even though technically we didn't do 6 activities for those customers, we still made 276 simoleons because it did charge them upon entry, which gave us a net profit of 281 simoleons. Next up, we have All That Jazz. This is an acting slash dancing studio, and really for this, obviously you're gonna need Get Famous if you want to do acting. You maybe want to tie singing into this. I think you're gonna need City Living, considering that's where singing was introduced, and also Get Together for the dancing skill. You could, I guess, just do this like as charisma maybe if you don't have Get Famous and acting, but I do feel like this is a good little business for children and teens to attend, especially if they are in the drama club. We are currently hosting a little lecture. I've set up acting routines, dancing, singing, attend classes and lectures, and also do yoga because I figured, you know, they're going to be dancing. They probably want to stretch. We do in fact have 2 yoga mats, which again came with spa day on either side of this little dance studio. I have set the preferred customers to teenagers and children. Children also aren't supervised by their parents, so the caregiver doesn't stay. It is an hourly fee. We've also price modified it to plus 50% for 7 simoleons per hour. And then for our employee tasks, I have offer mentoring to Sims, giving lectures and classes, and then also working on her own acting skill. Obviously, she does have both the acting and dancing skill. Acting level 7, I think you need to be above a level 5 to actually be able to mentor or hold lectures. And then dancing level 3. Oh my goodness, this cat is also working on their singing skill. They are very vocal indeed. Ooh, a lot of our customers are complaining about the price, which isn't surprising considering they are teenagers. They're like, ooh, I can't afford that. I mean, come on, gang. It's 7 simoleons per hour. Jeb has actually just signed in, which means that we can start a class. Now, the dancing class definitely isn't going to be quite as interactive as I would want it to be. Music must be playing. Music is playing. What the heck is going on? Oop, someone's singing Little Gideon Harris. Why don't you start a little acting class and see if we can get some of these kids into it? This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you, guys. I'm really, really loving the children's chorus that we have going on. Maybe you don't don't set kids and teenagers as your preferred customers if you don't want to hear this. This is like watching my niece's performance of Annie all over again. I've seen Annie more times than I care to count. The acting class was cancelled because nobody joined. Maybe we should have given her a singing skill so that we could have maybe done a singing class instead. Really quickly, let's also test that. I just got her singing up to level 6, so we can in fact do singing classes as well. Obviously, we do happen to have all of the activities needed. We have 4 microphones dotted around. We also have 4 mirrors. We are lecturing on that singing. That's got them invested. All these kids are trying out for Oliver, 100%. The school production is on and they're like, I want to be Troy Bolton. So yes, whilst this does work, it probably is a little less interactive than you would want it to be. You kind of have to use your imagination for the dance class because obviously you are just going to stand here and like talk to people. Why don't we actually go and mentor Alex in his singing? We also can rave about our favorite singers and sing for 45 minutes. Sorry, I should have done that ages ago, but I'm giving you spoilers for the other businesses. I'm gonna rate this one for, I guess, the lack of immersion. I'm gonna give this a 2.5 stars. I would give them 3, but all this dreadful singing brings it down to a 2.5. But does still work if you have those packs and you don't mind using your imagination a little bit. Definitely not as lucrative. We made 119 purely from those ticket sales from charging per hour, although I will say those kids were there for the whole 4 hours. For this next one, you're absolutely going to need cats and dogs. This is actually why I have the cat and dog hangout. You can obviously use lot traits to kind of up your business a little bit, so you can kind of cater, but this one I figured it would be helpful if we had cats and dogs actually hanging out on this lot, and that is because this is a little doggy daycare slash, I guess, shelter. I have built a sort of shelter looking place, but I know that dogs and cats aren't really gonna like stay here and sleep here. However, for the business settings, I have care for animals, will feed, clean and care for cats and dogs. And then obviously if you do have cottage living, you could maybe make this a sheep daycare, a goat daycare, a petting zoo, whatever you fancy. Pets play and learn, pet obstacles and toy balls. Play with pets will socialize and play with cats and dogs. And then I have actually added in some treats, some vet treats. The entrance fee is 7 simoleons. It's charged hourly. My employee tasks are obviously feeding, cleaning and caring for cats and dogs, helping litter boxes, pet bowls, small pet habitats, socialize with cats and dogs, clean any objects, and also fix any objects that could potentially break. Most of this is cats and dogs, apart from the little animal, which is of course my first pet stuff. So let's open up this doggy daycare and see who actually comes about. Speaking of, we also have preferred customers, cats and dogs. We have also plopped in these little doors for them, so hopefully they'll make their way on in here. If your sim has the vet skill, they can actually create some treats. So we have some of the treats in this little fridge. It'll be interesting to see if sims do actually purchase these. It seems that a lot of them are sitting on counters, so maybe we should get ourselves a counter. They have all these cats and dogs toys, and of course they're being typical cats and dogs, and they're like, actually we just want to sit here. Cleveland's using the cat tree. Oh my goodness gracious me. Let's go give the friendliest introduction to Cleveland, considering they are the very first pet that has made their way into our little shelter. We did actually get 7 simoleons, so there must be a paying customer about. I just don't know who it actually is. Ooh, it's Blue. Blue's going up and down the ramp. Let's go give the friendliest introduction. Everyone gets treated the same here. Little Rosie. Unfortunately, there aren't too many cats and dogs populated in the world, unless maybe your neighborhood stories has been working overtime. I don't feel like this is probably going to work as well if you haven't been playing the save for a long time, because only certain Sims have pets and they are basically in Brindleton Bay. So it kind of suffers the same problem as maybe not having loads of like kids or toddlers or infants in your game. It looks like Captain is about to take a cheeky little nap. So they're not going to stay for like a long time. Obviously, in Businesses and Hobbies, you can only have your business open for 23 hours, which again, kind of can break that immersion of this being a shelter, I guess. And Sims can't actually adopt strays, which I think would be so cute if you could set that as a customer type thing. Funnily enough, we only have cats and dogs as our preferred customers, and none of the owners. I guess if we said owners can stay with their pets, then they probably would come in a little bit more. But no humans have actually started to become a paying customer. So this is basically like a doggy daycare. We are definitely just looking after a bunch of their animals. The doggy daycare element definitely works, not so much when it comes to the shelter. I'm gonna give this one a 3 stars. I think the only change I would make for this one is potentially having the caregiver stay at the business. Maybe if you wanted to go more for like an adoption type shelter service rather than just like dropping their cat or their dog off. But if you just want to look after animals and you kind of just want it to be a little like petcation for them, this is definitely a pretty good business for you. We were open for 5 hours, had 3 paying customers who stayed 6 hours in on average, which is pretty long. We had revenue from services. I don't really know what the services were. Maybe people were potentially buying the treats, but we made a net profit in 5 hours of 79 simoleons. Don't really know if this one is going to work considering Brindleton Bay is currently raining more than the UK, but I have set up a little scout area. Obviously, this is a very small version of it. You unfortunately can't run a business in any of the vacation worlds, so this actually isn't available for those of you who have outdoor retreat, which is where you probably would run this type of business over in Granite Falls. But it does make sense maybe for like a summer camp. This is kind of a scouting activity. Hang out by fire, fish, which again probably would work better if you were maybe doing this in like a big park that actually had like fishing nearby or like signs and ponds actually on the lot. But I haven't gone that in depth with it. I just kind of wanted to see what Sims would do. Use activity table, use telescope, and also sleep. Choosing sleeping doesn't mean that they're gonna stay overnight. It doesn't mean that they can live out here basically, but I'll show you as we get into it. The required customers are teenagers and children. 23 simoleons, and it's a one-time payment. For my employee, they can grill. Obviously, the kids need feeding. Play guitar. Again, children can't play guitars, so I guess it's down to him to entertain them. Do friendly interactions with customers, repair objects that are broken, and also clean up. Time to open this up. We do have a little ticket kiosk. We also do have a little like scouting board over here. They're probably not really gonna like interact with this, but it'll be interesting to see what they do happen to interact with, if actually anything. We're gonna do a fishing lecture just to see if we can potentially get some of the kids actually over in that direction. I should probably lock off some of these other businesses. Look at the amount of people that are leaving. Are they maybe going to fish? Nope, they are all just leaving. They're all despawning. This one might be looking like it's potentially like a fail, which is wild considering this really doesn't cost that much. Like it's set to 0%. Maybe I should have done it to like minus 25. They are listening to the lectures. How about if we light this? We got 23 simoleons. All target customers that meet the required target customer criteria. I think they are actually coming, and then when they check out is when they pay, but they're not really doing any activities. Maybe if we didn't have like all this other distraction of like stuff going on, they would probably maybe interact with some of the things. Is anyone in here? He might be sleeping. I wish you could just open the inventory of a tent and see who's in there. Let's close this one up. So we did make some simoleons, but the ticketing went really, really strange. So we had 3 customers for 69 simoleons and revenue from one service, apparently 21 simoleons, which gave us 15 simoleons in total. This one may be the setup, but I'm gonna say this is a flop. I give it a 1 star. If I could give it 0, I would. This one, on the other hand, I know the kids are absolutely going to love. So this is a gamer cafe for board games, chess games, tabletop games, computers. You could obviously also make an arcade if you wanted to. If you have a get together, you do have the arcade machine. I actually haven't included that in this because it's more of like a games cafe, I guess. You could also have this as like an internet cafe. Any chess table will do. Obviously, the games table, the more packs you have, the more games you have available to you. We do also now have a base game console if we did take part in the Blast from the Past event. If you didn't take part of that event, you do need City Living for these. The games mats are just available in base game. Most computers are also available in base game. Kids room stuff for the Void Critters battle station. And for this, we have programming, play table games. There is also different options for this where you can have like just like different games. You could also have darts. We know we could also turn this into a cafe if you have businesses and hobbies, because we do obviously also have that little coffee bar. So you could play all of these individually, but I just chose the table games because that kind of included everything. I also have hack and battle with void critters and play video games. For employee, we also just have repair broken objects. That is literally the only thing this man needs to do. We haven't really needed to go here and talk up any of our businesses, but we will for this one just to see if we can get people through the doors. Ooh, Christopher getting his game on in the little like virtual reality cube. We also have this set to a 3 simoleon per hour fee. So this is actually probably the lowest paid one, but I figured people would like to spend some time here. I do really like this idea because it also feels as if it's very interactive. Feels as if you can play games with your customers. It feels like you can really build that relationship if you have a sim who owns an arcade who kind of has that element. I mean, this place is absolutely popping off. My theory was correct. People love gaming. They love spending time in here. I mean, Zalmira has been sat at this PC for so long now. It's been hours. Interesting. It was a loss, but I think if you have entrance fees maybe a little bit higher, we're not making any sales or services, so it kind of makes sense. The charging by hour businesses definitely don't earn you as much as those that actually sell things to customers. I think potentially if we did also have this as a cafe and someone was attending and being a barista and like selling coffees and cakes, we probably would have earned a little bit more. I'm gonna give this one a big ol' 5 stars. I wish that we had more arcade machines. I wish that we had grabbers and we could go on cute little dates to like arcades and win our love a little prize from any of the games that we play, and you could collect tickets and redeem them. But without having all of that, I still think this is really fun. If you also, I guess, have some of the packs to supplement this with different games. But I think this is even possible in just base game. For this one, you're absolutely gonna need Crystal Creations because one of you asked if you could run a jewelry shop. So this is sort of a retail store. Obviously, you can also own these if you have Get to Work, which speaking of Get to Work, if you go into into build mode whilst owning a small business, you have this small business category under objects by function, and a lot of get to work shelving works with businesses and hobbies. Currently, they are disabled, but if you go into live mode, you can enable sales and then these tags will pop up, which basically means people can purchase items. This is Crystal Cravings. The customer activities are, of course, browse and buy items, and I also kind of maybe wanted this to be a space where they could actually take part in gemology classes. Maybe they want to like start designing their own jewelry. One-time entrance fee 400+%, because I wanted this to be, you know, a little high-end, a little bougie, which also means that our preferred customers have over 500,000 simoleons, which not a lot of sims do actually have. So I've only made it preferred and not actually required, because I know that I would absolutely not have customers if that was the case. But we are going to open this up and hopefully we will get some people wanting to purchase our jewelry. We're actually gonna go, of course, talk it up. 432 simoleons per attendee for a gemology class. He's actually gone over and decided that he wanted to make his own jewelry instead of maybe buying something that we've created. So why don't you get on that 45 minutes? Actually, whilst he is... Oh, never mind. He's not working on it any longer. Carry on with your lecture. He's got back to it, so we are going to mentor gemology whilst he's working on it. Unfortunately, he is like hot swapping tables an awful lot. It's like he's hot desking. So it means that the mentoring is actually quite difficult to reach like the allowance that we need. Definitely feels like the game is kind of pushing them to partake in this activity rather than buy stuff. But Marissa actually just bought a pair of earrings for well over 1,000 simoleons. So when people do buy the stuff that you've created, I definitely think a jewelry shop is worth it for the amount that you can make, but it feels as if they want to do the activity way more than they actually want to purchase things in your retail system. Sometimes I think businesses and hobbies is harder in that sense when it comes to retail, because you actually physically have to put in the time and energy to make your stuff. Obviously, in Get to Work, you would just get a little sign here that said restock for a specific amount of simoleons, whereas in Businesses and Hobbies, you physically have to go in and like make the jewelry, which is why I always think it's slightly better to have another employee that kind of talks to customers or does the classes, and then you yourself can focus on actually making it. However, Businesses and Hobbies is slightly easier, I guess, if you want a more hands-off approach, because you don't have to like swindle sims into a sale. So whilst retail lots do work, they have kind of a different experience than Get to Work, and it kind of just depends on what you want to focus on a little bit more. Do you want to focus on those customer interactions and being able to easily restock? If so, Get to Work is the retail system for you. If you care more about actually turning your hobby into a business and like being the sole component of that business, Businesses and Hobbies is more for you. But I will say, when it comes to any retail lot, it's probably easier if you're not that fussed about teaching other people and actually physically doing like classes and mentoring, then maybe just have buy and browse goods, because people are going to want to focus more on the activity than I think they ever are with just like purchasing certain things. But we did make 1,661 simoleons, which is probably the best net profit that we are going to see today. Anything that you can create that can be excellent quality and can also earn you a lot of money when you actually up your percentage. Tattooing, pottery, selling your art, your jewelry, all of that really good for lining your pockets. I think I am just gonna give this like a 2 to 3 star though, because at the end of the day, it is just a retail shop. Although I am proud of Knit and Stitch, I'm really, really happy with the way that it turned out. I am a little bit worried about opening up this bad boy because cross-stitching has been making Sims freeze very, very badly in my game. We're encouraging customers to cross-stitch themselves, which we may have to get rid of that if they do start glitching. Knitting, attend classes and lectures because I kind of wanted this to be a place where you can learn those skills, and then also browse and buy items. It is an hourly fee with a 50+ modifier, just because I figured if we were teaching them and giving them mentoring, then an hourly fee kind of made sense, even though we are also technically selling stuff if they want to purchase things. And then our employee tasks are obviously give lectures and classes, friendly interactions, and once again, mentor Sims who want to be mentored. I have enabled all of the sales, so we're actually going to go open Knit and Stitch on our little ticketing kiosk. For sale, we actually have some like knitting baskets. We have unfinished cross-stitching pieces. I don't think we have any finished ones currently in our inventory. And then also just some yarn and some empty cross-stitch. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone does happen to buy these. These were actually available in debug. You could again also have the little like barista bar over here for coffee. You could have a little coffee machine in the back so they can kind of do a stitch and sip situation. Uh-oh, Mitchell has decided to cross stitch. I'm really scared that he's gonna glitch out. They've basically been pausing in like a seated position when if they happen to cancel out of cross stitch. We don't seem to be getting the mentor interaction with the Sims, and no one seems to have picked up knitting yet. They can do it themselves. So clearly Eleanor, the game is pretending that she has some knitting in her inventory, but I'm not seeing any mentoring available for either one of these. But it is very cute. It does feel very homey. No one's really bought anything. Again, it feels like they've kind of put more of an emphasis maybe in the programming, in the code, on Sims actually partaking in the activities that you encourage them to do rather than actually buying stuff. So any business that has like an activity and then also like, hey, you can buy these things on the side, feel like it's always better to charge hourly, because I don't think you're going to make your money really from selling items. Especially items like this where, you know, the items aren't really worth that much. This is very wholesome though. Everyone's getting along very, very well. In total, we made a net profit of 70 for simoleons. No retail sales. Why would you spend simoleons when you could just get it in the Build Buy Mo catalog? This is why online shopping is evil. They have no patience. They don't want to support local. They just want to go to Simazon and purchase it for next day delivery. Gonna give this one a 4 stars. I like the community element. I think that was very, very sweet. Just kind of wish they did buy some more stuff. It's time to grab our florals for our little florist. How cute is this little build? Attend classes and lectures. Again, people were asking if you could do floral arranging classes. Yes, you can. You just need to keep in mind for any classes that you run, you have to be able to have the activity, and you need to have 3 objects that encourage that activity, be it mirrors, computers, ovens, floral arranging tables. Obviously, for the floral arranging table, you do need to have seasons. This is very seasons dependent. You can't really have a flower shop without it. I guess you could choose to have like more of a generic gardening shop, like a little garden center, maybe with some fish, which you can't actually sell, but you know, you can imagine. And then selling some like potted seedlings, some seeds from debug. Then we have flower arranging and also browse and buy items. Fear this is going to be exactly the same as the knitting, where people are going to want to use the floral arranging tables more than they actually want to purchase anything, which is unfortunate for our little florist who probably also wants them to buy her floral arrangements. But for her own play tasks, we have paid mentoring, using the whiteboard for lectures and classes, and then friendly interactions. You can't choose like make floral arrangements as your own little task for your employee, but that's okay because I put 4 in, so she can always make her own arrangements if she wants to. We're gonna do an autumnal equinox. We do have some made up already on this little selling table. We are gonna enable sales on all of these. I have grabbed out some seeds and also some little potted plants and also some seedlings. With the price point being higher in a lot of these businesses, even though it is like 0 stars, a lot of Sims are just turning it down at the door, which is a thing that can happen. Ah, but he checked in and we got 12 simoleons for one of the little seedlings. Of course, we are gonna welcome him to the business. Just keep in mind, like, none of these flowers are actually available for purchase. The only ones that are these bouquets over here that are on this little selling table that came with Businesses and Hobbies. Ooh, 81 simoleons. Should have really just made multiple floral arrangements and put them on these shelves, considering they are definitely going to be the most profitable stuff over just like this generic stuff that comes with build buy mode. But again, I kind of wanted to show off that you could have more generic gardening if you wanted to. I just think this little like middle workshop is again really sweet. I'm gonna have each of these businesses put up on the gallery, which is just EnglishSimmer, as rooms if you want to download them, if you maybe want to use them for your own businesses. If you did happen to pick up Businesses and Hobbies, they will be on my gallery. 360 simoleons. I don't know what someone just bought. I think it was maybe a seed packet, but that was spenny. I thought they were gonna buy the floral arrangement, but that's 480 simoleons. So many of these Sims have hay fever. Same, besties. Me this morning when I woke up, they're all sneezing. Summer's Morning made by Rahul. It's poor quality. Fortunately, I can't put it in our inventory because we don't own it. However, we could sell it for a cheeky 45 simoleons. Love that we can sell our customers finished product. Because this one is going so well and there's so many people, they are actually looking to buy stuff way more than they have the other businesses. I think that's because we obviously only have 4 tables, so if we're also working on one, they can't all do it at the same time, which means they have to spend their money. And I also think this works better than like the jewelry making, for example, because they were like going in and out of this so quickly, whereas this one, they really stay focused until they finish the arrangement. I'm gonna give a florist, even with floral arranging classes and activities, a 5 out of 5 stars. One of the better businesses, for sure. Wow, Sims 4 Seasons, finally useful for something. And last but certainly not least, we have probably one of my favorites, which is the Apothecary. Now, I didn't get too fancy with the name here. It does what it says on the tin because I needed to know how to say that. I kept getting it wrong. Heavily supplemented by Realm of Magic. Realm of Magic tends to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Medicine from Get to Work, which I did just happen to purchase through Debug. We also have some tomes from Realm of Magic, obviously a load of potions, which we can actually brew some potions in this cauldron over in the back. Can also supplement it with cottage living and the canning skill, and also outdoor retreat and the herbalism skill. So all these kind of together. You could also use crystals if you wanted to from base game. All work really, really nicely. I mean, you could just make a shop that sells your collectibles. You could make a shop that just sells milk and eggs from cottage living. You can really make a retail system around anything with Businesses and Hobbies, but all of these kind of join together to make this really nice kind of witchy den. We only have browse and buy items. That's the only thing. We don't even have a ticketing kiosk in this one because we don't have entrance fees. I just want to see how much we can make off our stock. We do have a plus 50% modifier. We can use the cauldron and we can also clean dirty objects. Obviously, if I want her to really do anything else, for example, like make some canned stuff or make some herbal remedies, I can have her come and use the oven or the fridge. Obviously, can't really do that right now because we haven't been to Granite Falls and we haven't got the stuff available, but we do have these set up. Again, these shelves are from Get to Work. They're a really nice kind of like studio shelf. Really work if you are also maybe a bookseller or you kind of want to pretend that you're selling like comic books. Do keep in mind, I do think that these like herbal salves from Outdoor Retreat can actually go off. So it may be better to put these in one of the like fridge selling shelves that we have. We got a curse of repulsiveness. Oh my goodness gracious me. Now we do look like a little witch. I have set this area to employees only, using obviously the little like room tagging system that we got in Businesses and Hobbies. 0 simoleons. What the heck was worth 0 simoleons? Was that a potion? Surely not. We didn't even break even. Potions, when they're from debug, that aren't actually worth anything. The only one that is this 36 simoleons. No! So only the things that we've made are worth anything. Ooh, some of our canned tomato sauce and meat substitute got bought. So medicine isn't technically ever gonna work because you can't really get that outside of debug other than maybe purchasing it online. It doesn't have the little tag when you hover over it to tell you how much it's marked up, which makes me think that it's not really going to be worth anything. So unfortunately, you can't run like a little doctor's, but you can run this type of stuff with your balms and salves if you have the herbalism skill. Let's see what we made in that short time. Not great. 96 simoleons in total, and we actually sold 6 different things. Definitely make your own crafts if you want to sell them. Don't think that you can cheat the system, which honestly a little bit unrealistic because you know that people buy produce from places and then just put a markup price on it. Sims, I would like to see that realism, please and thank you. All in all, I think I'm gonna give the Apothecary a 3.5. It was enjoyable, and I definitely think you have more fun with this if you are actually making your own stuff. Like if you are a spellcaster and you want to sell your potions, or you are into canning or herbalism, this could definitely be fun. It's more fun for the storyline, I think, than it is for the business. There we have it. There are 9 business ideas that you maybe haven't thought of, fully tested for you when it comes to The Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies, and then a lot of other packs thrown in here and there depending on what you have. If there were any items where you're a bit like, ooh, I'm unsure as to where this came from, or I'm not too sure if you like mentioned where that was from and you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to let me know down in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible if I know the answer. If I don't, I'm sure someone else in this very helpful community will. Speaking of helpful, I hope this video was helpful. I had an awful lot of fun setting up these businesses, kind of thinking outside of the box as to what we can do. I will say a lot of it does still feel a little limited. I do feel like you do sometimes have to suspend your belief a little bit too much or use your imagination a bit too much, which is generally just like a main point of criticism I have about The Sims 4 in general. But a lot of these actually worked a little bit better than I expected them to. I think my own personal favorites were actually the florist, which I didn't think that would be a thing. I did not think that I would vibe with the florist, but that was actually just super fun to play with. And then also the game cafe, which isn't surprising. As a simmer, I've constantly said that we need more arcade games, and I personally think that should have been more of a part of Businesses and Hobbies. They should have definitely introduced more arcade games. Thank you all so much for your ideas. If you left one of these comments that I did include in this video, I hope this maybe inspired you to maybe play around with some things that you haven't already in Businesses and Hobbies. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.